boys and girls, like it or love it, I think it's fair to say that the fandom for the Scream franchise has launched into the stratosphere within the last year. The resurgence is tied in with Gen Z's love for everything 90s. And as bittersweet as it is to see a quote-unquote cute Ghostface t-shirt on a rack in Target right next to Friends or a Saved by the Bell t-shirt, it's clear to see that the impact of the Scream movies have reached far beyond the horror community. For the life of me, I don't know why this makes fans mad, me included. We want our horror movies for ourselves, and once they reach high levels of mainstream success, we get jealous. And that's how I feel about the Scream movies. I'm not saying my opinions are right, but for those of us alive for the first three, they meant something. They were the scary movies that made fun of the others, preached the sanctuary of a saga, the importance of ending on a good note for the sake of cohesion for the fans. But here we are in 2022 with 5 movies, and the promise of a 6th on the way. Not only that, there's a large group of fans who would love nothing more than to see Stu Macher return, after we witnessed him being killed in the first one. The way fandom overpowers creativity these days is sickening. I refuse to accept that cameos, Easter eggs, and post-credit trailers make good cinema. Good movies do. And in my opinion, the first 3 Screams are perfect. All the puzzle pieces just fit together like they're supposed to. And that's why on today's episode, we chose to shine light on the most forgotten film in the franchise, Scream 3, released in 2000, directed by the one and only Wes Craven. Not only did Scream 3 tackle the misogyny and atrocities going on with creepy directors in Hollywood, decades before any whispers of the Me Too movement, the movie was released under Dimension, Harvey Weinstein's label. Talk about having some balls. But looking at his career, Craven was no stranger to line-stepping on the moralities of society. So regardless of your opinions of this installment, we're going to ask for everybody to leave their hard feelings at the door. Ozark and I are about to dive balls deep in on this one. So without any further introduction, here is our take on Scream 3. Boom! Welcome to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. And back again for another week, clapping them cheeks, the best producer in the whole wide world, and one of my best friends, and I call him a brother, Mr. Ozark Mark. What's going on, dog?
I love your enthusiasm. Your enthusiasm. Welcome back, everybody. I am your producer, your favorite person in the world that you know, but you don't know.
That's
Ozark
true.
Mark. That's the first time I think I've ever introduced myself on the show. 49 episodes later, we finally got it. I think we're on episode 48 or 49. We're almost to 50. So you better pick the good one for 50 when it ever comes up. But when that's neither here or there, Mr.
Whoa.
Christian Ramey, we're here to talk about...
This is
49?
I think so. I really don't remember. I think it's like 48 or 49 off the top of my head. I don't know. But it's not 50 yet.
Okay.
But we're talking about another great sequel here on the Season of Sequels, ladies and gentlemen. We were gone for a week, but now we're back all up in your ass. And we're here to talk about Scream 3.
Yeah. We are talking about Scream 3.
Yes.
Folks.
Scream 3. Scream 3, baby. Now, why did you decide to pick Scream 3 instead of Scream 2? Because we talked about the first Scream, but you skipped 2 and went to 3. What was your philosophy behind that?
First off, a lot of people shit on Scream 3, Mark. And here's what happens. I didn't know this for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
The first 3 Screams were something different. Now, the first Scream, obviously the best story. No one's denying that. But the first 3 Screams on VHS was was such a large part of my childhood. Like, I can't even describe. Even my parents, I had younger parents, even they watched Scream. That's what Scream was to me. And Scream 4 and 5, they're kind of making... It's what happened with Star Wars, you know? Like, if you love the first original Star Wars, that doesn't guarantee you're going to like the next 6 or all the spin-offs. Doesn't guarantee it. You might like some of them, but it's not a promise that you're going to like the new adaptations. Well, 3 to me... Let's look at this. As I alluded to in the intro, and I made a little TikTok about this, so some of you guys kind of heard this theory. But obviously, we have Dimension Films, owned by Miramax. It's kind of their horror label, infamously, run by the Weinstein brothers, the creepy Weinstein.
Yeah, the creepos.
Harvey Weinstein obviously got put in jail for making ladies, do nasty shit with them to get, roles in Hollywood. Just real creep, real nasty dude. The whole premise of Scream 3 is they're trying to find mementos of Sydney's mom, who was an actress who was very, very mistreated while in Hollywood by one of these creepy directors, and it kind of set her on a downward spiral that ruined her life. And they did it under Harvey Weinstein's label. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I guess it's best to hide in plain sight, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm making a movie about directors doing creepy stuff. That's not mean I do it.
Yeah.
I guess it's the perfect crime.
Because it's totally shot as from the sympathy point of the actress. It's not like, hell yeah, awesome parties. These guys are getting, fucking all these actresses, nasty parties. It wasn't highlighting the good, that being good. It was showing like, hey, you guys are really messed up for what you did to these girls back then. And this is in 2000. And I'm going to let you know something. That's a lot further. That's a lot before any of this Me Too shit happened. Some of the girls that came out with Me Too stories were only children. They were in diapers when this movie came out.
Very
so,
true.
like, if that puts it in perspective. So you got, Aaron Kruger was the guy who wrote this. He's obviously wrote The Ring. He's done some pretty good movies, man. It wasn't Kevin Williamson. It was a different person for this. And, obviously Wes Craven is the director. Did I put that on the notes, Wes Craven? Did I write Wes Craven?
Yes, you went, you got Wes Craven.
Okay.
Oh, wait, that's short for director. Yeah, Wes Craven.
You know what's weird? I didn't remember writing that. Okay.
I'm sure you don't remember a lot of things.
Yeah.
Eating your damn Oreos, your special Oreos that you have.
Yeah, I haven't had any since the weekend. I had to taper off a little. I just kind of became real numb.
Yeah, those Oreo cookies will do it to you.
Yep, those edibles, man. I probably honestly.
What did they call them? They weren't called Oreos.
Stonios. Then I had some Trips Ahoy.
Yeah, Trips Ahoy.
I'm not gonna lie. I want to say it was probably a good 2,000 milligrams.
That's ridiculous.
Worth of THC over the weekend. But
That's
as far
ridiculous.
as just ingested, I don't know about inhaled. But yeah, it was just Monday. I was just kind of. You could have probably shot me with a gun. I'd have been like, hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's a lot of THC.
Spam risk.
Spam risk. At least the phone tells you that you have spam risk nowadays. Well, way back in the day, the phone rang. You never know who it was.
Hello? Yeah, that's that's kind of funny that you just mentioned that. That's very funny that my phone just rang in the middle of the Scream episode. Like, that's kind of...
It is. The president says they get phone calls. That's one of the main things in Scream now, isn't it, Christian Ramey?
Now, what do we tell folks, Ozark Mark, when watching horror movies? If you're watching an old horror movie, what do we like to do?
You got to put yourself in that time period.
That's right, man. You can't watch a movie from the 80s and be like, why didn't they just text somebody? Like, they didn't have that option, bro. Like, that's just not... You got to really put yourself in the shoes of what the world was like back then.
Right.
And I think there's a large part of me that's why I really enjoy old films. Just like, man, what a simpler time where you just watch things and brings me comfort, to be quite true with you.
Yes.
But you got the year 2000, all right?
Is this the synopsis?
Yeah, it's going to jump into the synopsis, but this is kind of like a little precursor, just a little precursor.
We're still in the precursor. Okay, sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
And like, and this is just kind of a fair fact, and it's an honest fact, folks. Before 9/11 in the 90s, explosions in movies were grand. Like, you shot the gas tank of a car, a movie would, it'd be a nuclear explosion. After a large thing like that happens, everybody got a way different perspective. Don't believe me? Watch the Godzilla from 2000. He literally walked through buildings and there's just a frame of it standing up. After that, you notice that bombings in movies, practical effects, explosion, they started to dull down and get a little bit more realistic. Because you can't fool people anymore. They know what something of you just can't see something of that large, and then you can't shoot a gas tank and make that same explosion. Like, it's not going to happen. I've watched something, so if you look at things from after that point, and obviously this was before, so there's some fun scenes in this movie where, like, there's a house exploding, there's some great cinematic kind of fireworks going on in this that you don't really see kind of after 2001. It kind of starts to dull down on that. The 90s were great for those real action-packed, like, explosions. The fun part about this is, folks, caller ID, I mean, like we said, going into the millennium, because 96 was when the original Scream came out. So 4 years is not a lot of times. You know, sometimes it takes people 4 years to see a popular movie. Think about a movie that came out 4 years ago that's really popular. I don't know. It still probably seems kind of fresh. It's not that long ago. So all three of these come out, and like kind of by the end of this is when caller ID becomes really prevalent. People didn't have it before. So all these crank phone calls. So these will jump us right into our synopsis. Obviously, we know the story of Scream. We have Sydney. She's been on the run for quite some time for the fact in the first one, her boyfriend and his friend tried to kill her. They revealed that they killed her mom. And the second one, then she obviously killed him. Second one, her boyfriend's mom comes back for revenge, and a crazed film student that she helps, talk into her craziness, try to kill her again. She kills him. So in the third one, she's got a little bit of trust issues, as anybody would. So she's living kind of like the Unabomber up in the fucking mountains by herself. She gets a job where she doesn't have to use her real name. She's like a crisis counselor, very fitting. She does like phone calls with girls who are, my boyfriend beats me up, or whatever they're talking about. Mm-hmm. She can listen to all that. Well, we remember Cotton Weary. Cotton Weary from the first movie, he was who Sydney threw in jail because she thought that's who killed her mom before Billy revealed himself. So Cotton and Sydney kind of had a troubled past. Well, Cotton gained a little bit of fame from this, throughout the whole scandal. Now he's got himself a talk show. And at the beginning of Scream 3, he's driving home and he gets murdered, like once he gets home, him and his girlfriend. So it starts off this craziness. Sydney gets wind. And obviously, throughout this Scream franchise in Hollywood, they started making movies about the scenario. So it's like a movie within a movie. They're called Stab. Okay, so a Stab movie is being produced, and throughout this, the characters are starting to get killed in the order that they get killed in the movie. The actors do. So it's a big showdown. It's a big finale. I mean, this came out 22 years ago, and the finale turns out that her brother is the killer, who we did not know. And he was her stepbrother, and he says, hey, like, our mom didn't want anything to fucking do with me. I had to be raised by these other people. She gave all the love to you. She fucked around on all these people, so it wasn't anything for me to talk to Billy and get him all crazy and start this whole... He was the conspirer behind the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And it made perfect sense to me, dude. But certain people really critique that because they were going to have a different movie for this. Do you remember a very bad event that happened April 20th, 1999?
Oh, wasn't that a bomb? Was it a bomb?
Columbine.
Yeah, okay.
Columbine.
Columbine, that's right.
So there were different ideas regarding the script, and then Columbine came out, okay? Now, I was going to save this for like a what do you know, like not before this. I eventually changed my mind because I think it's kind of crucial. But after Columbine happened, Scream 1 used about 50 gallons of blood. Fake blood, Yeah. Scream 2 used about 30 gallons of fake blood. Guess how many this one used?
15.
10.
Damn.
Now, it's still great. There's some still great gore in it, but they really pressed to say there can't be any murder or blood in it at all. And our man Wes Craven said, "Nuh-uh, I don't think so, pal. Like, this is a horror movie. Like, I feel very bad, but like we are still making a horror movie. We can maybe shine it down a little bit, but there's gonna be blood in it."
Yeah.
So you go from 50 to 30 to 10. So that's kind of a major change. And they had to change the script up a little bit. But I thought it was done, honestly, brilliantly, because there's some big actors in this. There's some really big, actors throughout this movie. I thought everybody kind of crushed it, but I thought that was smart. At that point, because as the screams go on, and 4 and 5, and we keep introducing family members that we haven't heard of, but we've known these people for 20, 30 years, it gets a little far-fetched. Whereas at that time frame, it made sense. It was so close within each other. We're like, oh, it's only been a couple years. This is the finale to the whole thing. It was a beautiful chef's kiss. It was over. So even when I heard there was wind of a Scream 4, I was a little like, what do you mean? Like, how? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how? And Emma Roberts is hot, so like that kind of carried me more through Scream 4 than I think it should have. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and she's kind of crazy. You're like, oh shit. Yeah, and she just needed to be, you know what I mean? You need to break that thing off in her. One time, hey, you can't go out here killing people. Let me show you some attention. Relax. Somebody she needed some, Chick-fil-A. We don't know. And that's what I
Chick-fil-A in the morning, Starbucks at lunchtime. She would have been fine.
Yeah. I mean, your lady might be one step away from this. You don't know.
No,
you don't
that's
know.
why, and as long as you keep Starbucks open, we should be fine.
Yeah, we should be good. But, even 4, I was like, okay, because so much time had passed. Maybe there was a younger family member in the distance who was jelly. But after 5, we're like, oh, Billy has a daughter we haven't mentioned. Billy's was sexually frustrated. That motive is no longer there. Like, he was actually getting play. Like, fuck out of here. So they started to get sillier and sillier.
Well, that's what happens. Anytime you have a successful movie, they don't look at the movie anymore. They look at the numbers. They look at the money. So they're like, wow, look at this fat-ass cow over here. Let's milk it for a couple more movies. Who cares? Let's just make something that kind of makes sense, whatever. And people will still go because they're invested in it, which kind of sucks. And then you water down them, and they get watered down, and then they don't go.
You know what I feel like?
Usually the first couple, three movies usually in a series are the best ones. And then after that, it's just done.
They were supposed to do it right. The whole time, Randy mentioned a trilogy because we get a nice little... Jamie Kennedy is Randy. Mm-hmm. He made a little confessional or what do you call that? Like a little video you show people.
Final Testament.
Yeah, like if you know.
Or whatever it is. Yeah.
And he says, like, if anything happens to me, I'm making this video for you guys to watch. And it was like this whole beautiful little, film student, thing talking about how trilogies are great, but all rules are off. And the third one, it was beautiful. It could have just been kept at that.
Yep.
It could have just been kept at that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think since some of the younger fans grew up knowing 4 just as well as them knowing 3, like we were grown-ass adults when 4 came out. So like we had grown up with the other ones, and then like 4 was forced to us, whereas I think that's not the case for everyone. And 4 was an easier transition. But you say what you will, 4 and 5 feel a lot different than 1, 2, and 3. And I thought this was like a beautiful, just the icing on the cake. Is it the better? It's my second favorite in the in the franchise. I would go 1, 3. Just me personally, man. There's so many great actors in here. Like these people are well-renowned actors.
You got even Detective Kincaid, who's Patrick Dempsey. That guy.
Yeah, Grey's Anatomy guy.
That guy's the Grey's Anatomy guy to where everybody's sad because he dies. I don't know. I remember when he died on the show. Oh, my God. You would think that fucking, like...
Ladies love that
show,
don't
they? You would think,
they?
like, women's rights was, like, over or something, and they had no rights anymore. That's how sad they were.
I know.
Something like that magnitude. Like, it was more talked about than the stupid slap stuff that happened recently.
Mm-hmm. And then even Roland... I'm sorry, Roman. Who was he played by?
Roman?
Yeah, that guy.
That's Scott Foley.
Scott Foley, yeah. He's in a bunch of shit, too. I mean, there's some really well-renowned actors in here.
They even got little cameos in there. They got Jane Silent Bob in it for, like, 30 seconds. It's hilarious. They're, like, walking in the line of, like, the tours or whatever.
I even liked Jenny McCarthy, obviously, was Sarah.
Yeah, she gets stabbed. One of my favorite parts in the movie is like when she's in the prop room and Ghostface is going after her and she tries to pick up a knife, but it's like a rubber knife and it just like, like when she picks it up, like it like flops around.
I think that's what makes Scream honestly so successful in the horror industry, because all right, so let's say horror movies are basically on a spectrum. Okay, all the way here on the left, the minimal stuff is like Scooby-Doo.
Sure.
Or something, right?
Sure.
Like everybody.
Sleepy Hollow,
things like that, okay? And all the way on here on the other side.
Serbian film. And
you got like Human Centipede and freaking Hostel and all kinds of nasty. The Green Inferno. You got shit like that. Scream is like almost right here in the middle.
It is.
Because it has somewhat mystery. It's got fun jokes. It's got comedy. It's got lighthearted kills, if there is such a thing, if that makes sense. They're like TV broadcasted kills. None of them are too intense, but you still have kills. You still got the blood there, and you got the killer is always comical. Like the killer is not like scary, run for your life. You're like, oh no, and
he dies. He always dies.
He always dies, but he always gets messed up by like doors and steps and like
it's realistic
and coat hangers and all that. Yeah.
Which in return makes it scarier, because even if you're fighting for your life, it's still a guy with a knife.
Right.
Even if you're fucking him up a little bit. And honestly, I wanted to do this episode so much because I really do love the franchise. And I don't want to say this new generation is making me hate the franchise, but like it's really getting watered down in my opinion, and that's kind of upsetting me to some degree. But I just, for the people who are old enough, growing up with these first three, and there's people our age who probably don't like 3 as well, and that's fine, and I totally respect that, but I don't know, man. I loved the idea of 3 movies. That's what made it so smart. You guys are the smarter thing, and this is a hard pill for some folks to swallow. Scream in itself is a parody. Scary Movie is a parody of a parody. The whole meta aspect, like, come on, Sid, you're making it sound like it's a Wes Carpenter movie. The whole time, there's rules for surviving a horror movie. The whole time, it's all a spoof. It's just kind of a more serious spoof. It's not a comedy spoof, but the whole thing is tongue-in-cheek. The whole time they're talking about
being in a horror movie.
Yeah.
And they're in a horror,
Yeah, the whole thing is supposed to be. So I think folks need to realize that from the get-go, and it helps things be a little bit more cohesive. But I do like it, but being fair with Scream, it does have some art house pretensions. It is a little theater kid. It's like, there are people who don't like horror movies I like, but they love Scream. And that's totally okay, but it's very easily digestible, like you said. The people are beautiful. It's funny. It's witty. It's not, just dumb bimbos and a chainsaw. There's some wit to it. The characters are smart, and I think that's originally why I fell in love with it. But I'll be goddamned if you're going to tell me Scream 3 isn't a fun, good movie and it doesn't have creepy elements. What about that little nightmare with Sydney's mom? That was creepy, dude.
That was kind of creepy, yes.
I mean, I think we were like 13 by the time this came out, and that still kind of was a little bit like, yo, turn the light on. Hey, this is a little weird. hey now.
It's just the characters are always great. Dewey's a lovable character. And it's just, and this third one, like, I don't know. I like the third one, man. I don't know why people hate on the third one, because it's bringing everything together that you are so comfortable with in the first 2.
Yeah.
And it's like, where are they now? Oh, and this is where they're at. Dewey's in there trying to help the movie, and you got the actors trying to play other actors, and it's just funny.
I blame Courtney Cox's bangs. That's what people, everybody makes fun of her bangs in this movie, and if people hates it, that's why.
Yeah, that's probably why. She should have fixed those bangs.
We didn't talk about the funniest part.
Okay, this is, dude, I know what part you're talking about it because I related to you when we were at the convention. Because, dude, not Detective Kincaid, but the other detective, his second detective,
Wallace.
Detective Wallace, dude, he kills me through the entire movie. He always has. I love, the best part is when it's the first starting out and they're on set. And the director, whoever the killer guy is, What's his name again?
Roman.
Sorry, Roman.
Roman Bridger.
I know his face. I just forget names. But they're there and they're bitching about the movie getting shut down because of the killings that have been happening. So then the two detectives walk by and he's like, "Excuse me, detective, you don't think this picture has anything to do with the murders, do you?" Without hesitation, Wallace's go, he was in a movie Stabbed. He was stabbed.
He was making a movie called Stab. He was stabbed. And he just turns him around. Like, I don't know why that's so funny.
I don't know either. He's chewing gum like he was stabbed.
That was so funny.
And then another time, it's where they got to take Roman in for like questioning because another murder happened and he was supposedly talking to her on the phone or whatever. And he's bitching about, "No, this is my movie, and you can't take away. You're trying to ruin my movie." Okay, well, this is the scene where we go downtown. Like, he's got the cheesiest fucking lines ever.
I know, man. That is super funny. I really do appreciate that. I like to when they're like.
But now it pops in your head every time we were walking around because they had stab shirts. People were making stab shirts, and it just in your rear. He was stabbed.
I like, because before you knew Roman was the bad guy, he's a director, so all these people, they come to his house at the end for like this finale party.
Yeah.
And he's like walking around and creepy shit starts happening, so they separate to find stuff. So he's with this girl, this actress, and they have to go to the basement, and she's like, "I'm not going," and he goes down there by himself. And he's like, "Oh," and he sees like a mannequin, and he's like, "Nothing, it's just, it kind of looks like you without makeup, Jennifer, you know?" She said, "Stop pretending like I wasn't the best you ever had." He said, "Stop pretending I remember." She said, "Stop pretending." Like, it was just a funny exchange. He's like, "You know what you look like without makeup. Try that line with your wife and see what happens. But you're going to get fucking filleted." And he just like, it just rolled off of his tongue. Like, it was just, "You know what you look like without makeup." Like if you saw that in public, you would... You would have to turn your head because you'd laugh so hard. You know those situations where like there's something so crazy or funny that happens where somebody's roasting and you're like, I don't even want to look that way and like let that person know I'm laughing because like, I am dying. You just have to do shit. You're like,
Man.
Ozark Mark. It keeps it fresh now. Here's the thing with Scream. Sidney is always taking out these killers. I thought 3, the concept of Roman, the stepbrother, being upset about, all the attention, was a lot cooler than Billy's mom and Mickey, the crazy film student from part 2. I don't hate 2 by any means, but I think 3 is a better movie. I'm not asking you to agree with me, but I think you remember the second one where they're in the movie theater at the beginning. Jada Pinkett Smith gets stabbed in the beginning. They're in college. But me personally, I don't know if it's because it's like the movie set, the mom dream. I thought Cotton getting killed at the beginning was kind of cool. I mean, that's a character that's carried throughout the whole franchise, and he's kind of looked at as like a, you don't know, he's a tough guy, he's a shady guy, and he just got murked at the beginning. So it set the tone. You're like, damn, he's a grown-ass man. He ain't a teenager or like in his 20s. I mean, this dude's a grown-ass man. So I thought it kind of set the tone. And let's be fair, folks. What other horror movie has given you a Creed music video? Huh? This one? Creed. You call me when your horror movie has a Creed music video, okay? And until you do, you're gonna have to.
What would you rather have in your movie? Would you rather have Creed or would you rather have Nickelback?
I'm not gonna lie to you. They both are like. They're hated more than they should be. Like, now Nickelback has more of the cornier songs because, let's be fair, Creed came out from the beginning like we're a religious band. So it's like, okay, if you're stepping into it, there might be some like different like spiritual type shit. Tell me right now if you're working and some hold me now, I'm 6 feet from the edge and they had some bangers now. I'm not saying they were like heavy hardcore, but Creed had some tolerable music.
Can you take me higher? That's the only song I know.
There's quite a few Creed songs that you know.
That's really the only one I know.
No. Should have been there on Sunday morning, banging my head.
I don't know these songs. Dude.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm sorry.
But the one from this movie, What If? You know, that one's good too. Mm-hmm. It's a great song. And until you can find me another Scream that has a Creed music video, you guys got some splaining to do, because it's, you know, that puts it towards the tippy top in my book. Mark's having gastrointestinal problems.
Yeah, it came up. I had a bunch of bacon from Findlay Market. It was Cajun bacon. It was good with some eggs and pancakes.
You know what sounds
came
good?
Over here, huh?
Some White Castles.
I had White Castles the other night. I don't like to have White Castles that too often, but every time you get it, it's very satisfying.
It is, and it like definitely it does the same thing every time. Like you
it
think
does.
like you think like maybe this time it won't be because I haven't got it in a while. No, it will. You're gonna burp onions for 9 hours and you're gonna shit your brains out.
Yeah, it's like drinking a whole. It's like, you know, if you were to drink a whole thing of. I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
It's like the first shit after getting off an airplane. What's that about? I don't know. Why do your guts liquefy when you're in the air?
Because, dude, you go up in the higher pressure. Like, you're above the earth. Like, your intestines ain't used to that kind of pressure, and it all, you know, dissipates in there. Like, dissolves in there into a liquid.
Wringing out a sponge. And that is the episode of our latest episode on Patreon.
Is that what you called it? Wringing out a sponge?
Yep.
That's a good title.
Wringing out the sponge.
I forget what that conversation
folks,
was.
we should have plugged it earlier, because honestly,
hurry up, because we about to have to get into the guys are almost here, so plug it real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna plug it real quick, guys. We're plugging ourselves. We're not plugging sponsors. We really love and appreciate all your guys' support week after week, listening to the show, all the engagement we have with you guys. But if you're flying through these episodes and you're looking for a place for some more content with Ozark and I, we do have other episodes out there, and that is on our Patreon account. Now, this Patreon account requires a paid subscription, but there are 3 different tiers, $5, $10, and $20. And we know that's not for all of you. We know times are tough, but we definitely appreciate your love and support for helping us do what we do. So if you're looking for that, looking for a way to support the show, go to patreon.com/sloppyhorror, and we would be very appreciative. So,
wow.
Who's here?
That was a good plug.
Hey, who's touching us? Who's here?
Hello there. Welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is the segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie, Scream 3. So pay attention, because you might already know what we know. But if you know what we know, congratulations. You're going to fucking feel better about yourself, and you're going to feel smart. But if you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know, so you're not stupid and you feel better about yourself, and everybody's going to have a wee no-gasm. Okay, there we go. That's out of the way. Do you have a fact that you would like to tell me about this movie that I may or may not know? Please.
Yeah.
Continue, please.
Look here, I've got some stuff for you. Now,
okay, now hurry up.
Oh my God. Okay, so we know Christine, Cotton Weary's girlfriend. At the beginning, she was technically the first person killed.
Yeah.
She's taking a shower. Somehow she steps out of the shower with all her makeup on. I don't know how that works, but whatever. We'll move past that.
Must be waterproof. Dude, I'm telling you, I've seen commercials for makeup where it's like waterproof. I was like, how you take this shit off then? I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be waterproof. I think makeup is a lot waterproof. So when they cry, they don't look like raccoons.
I was almost played by a different actress.
Okay.
Almost played by a different actress.
This is a very common fact in many movies, I've noticed.
Yes, but this one is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fact. You know our fan Rebecca is probably going apeshit. She's been begging us to do this movie, and she loves Buffy, so this is kind of a, this is a special fact for you and anybody that likes Buffy.
Yeah, there's a little Buffy for your coochie there.
Yeah, you know Charisma Carpenter, the girl who played Cordelia on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
She was almost the actress selected for this role. She tried out for it, but other things, you know, it changed. They
Did
used
she
a
not
different
want to
person.
Did she not want to do the creepy Weinstein stuff?
Maybe not. Maybe that's
know.
the whole situation.
Could be.
but, you
Right
know,
on, sister. Don't give in to that.
Yeah, and I don't think I would have wanted to see her die.
No.
Yeah, I like her.
Well, she can't die. She's Buffy.
Oh, no, it's not Buffy. It's Cordelia.
Well, she can't die. She's Cordelia.
Yeah, and from
Cordelia don't
Buffy.
die, right?
Yeah, no, she don't die.
Okay. Well, yeah, she can't die. She's
That's
Cordelia.
what I named my daughter after. I like that show. I like, you know, that's like, you know, I
Well,
don't
I
care.
call her Cordelius.
Yeah,
By accident. I don't
but-
know. Does that make you angry?
No.
Okay,
No,
good.
I mean, her name's Cordy. You know what I mean? But like, there's been guys like, come here, Corey, and like old uncles. You're like, that her name's not fucking Corey.
Corey.
Yeah. It's
Well, I've known some girls that are named Corey, so at least it's
right.
not bad.
It's,
you
it's
know.
a possible, but
It's
you know, it's like
possible, but,
we're fucking family. Like you
Oh.
know, her name's Cordy.
Come on now. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a great fact here. I got a fact for you.
Tell me that fact.
Let me tell you something about this movie that you may or may not know, okay? So, at the time of its release back in 2000, right? Scream 3 broke a record for
Broke
the
a
amount of screens shown at its release. Do you know how many screens were showing Scream when
So
it
hold
came
on,
out?
so you're saying like it came out on more screens than
Okay.
any other movie?
The movie Scream came out on more screens than anything else that's ever been released at the same time.
Okay, so
The amount
at that
it's
time.
showing. I'm talking about the
Okay, how
amount of
many-
screens that the light is reflecting through the camera onto the projector in a movie theater.
So
That's
this
the amount of
is so
screens.
22 years ago. What was that number?
Well, I'll tell you what. You guess. No, never mind. You can't guess because you're probably the one that wrote it down. It was 3,467.
That's a lot of screens.
That's a lot of screens. That's a lot of screens.
You would think it'd be more. But it's like, you know, that is a lot when you think about it. For
Well,
how
it's
many
more
people-
than it would be now because most of the movie theaters nowadays are closing down. So this is the ultimate
That's a
record.
good point.
They can never break that record again. Now, they could probably break TV screens with the streams now, but that's not the same. That's not the
Yeah.
same. You got to get the whole experience. You
Gotta
got to
get
cut.
the whole
You got to
thing.
cut the hole in the bottom of the popcorn. You got to step in gum, and you got to sneak in gobstoppers and fried chicken into your purse
Yeah.
to get that experience.
Yeah.
But that's what I know here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know anything else about this movie?
I'm gonna give you a little baby fact.
Great.
So there's a part where Gail Weathers,
Gail Weathers.
she's doing a little seminar at the beginning of the movie, like a little Q&A.
Yeah.
And this guy stands up and he asks a question and he says something along the lines, so you're saying we can get to where we want to be as long as we're able to step on everybody else, kind of thing? That was David Arquette's little brother, Richmond.
Oh, that was Richie.
Yeah, that was him.
I don't
Want to
know
know
him, but
another
that's great.
little bitty fact?
What's that?
The house used in the climax at the end of this movie
Uh-huh.
was also used as a school in Halloween H2O. And it's been used in quite a few other fucking movies. It was used in Freddy vs. Jason. It was used in a bunch of stuff, but I'll make a little TikTok about that. But that's all you get for right now.
That house that's on the set?
Yeah.
The house that was on the set? You talking
No.
about that house?
No, I'm talking about Roman's house. Well, Milton's house.
Oh, Milton's house.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good. No, that's good. You know, I mean, there's lots of things that you can do multi-purpose with a house.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's some good facts
Those
for your
are-
ass
those-
that you
those-
probably didn't know about Scream 3, but you probably seen it 900 times.
Yeah, those are a lot of interesting things that I did not know about this movie here. But
Broke
now
a
I do.
record for screens. We almost had Cordelia getting killed. Okay, same place as Halloween H2O, Freddy vs. Jason. Okay.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up there. Okay. Well, with that, I guess we're gonna have to go now.
Can I tell you something weird? Can I tell you something a little weird?
Sure, you do every day anyway.
There's a lot of girls out there that want to be banged with a ghost face mask on.
Really? How do you know this fact?
Look, I'm not going to tell you how I know these facts, but I'm telling you quite a few. Quite a few would like to. And there's like more, so, like it's strange because, you know, you think there's a lot of different ones. You know, you're like, okay, maybe there's certain masks, you know, a little role play. If you were to poll the audiences and ask women which horror movie mask they would like to get banged in, it's the ghost face mask.
I think it's because it looks like a dick already. If you look at it, it just looks like a long schlong with two drippy balls up there.
Yeah, and
So
maybe they think it's
just-
Billy under there. You know,
Maybe.
they're like, maybe it's Billy and Stu.
I guess so. Maybe. You know, whatever.
It's not. I'm Billy's mom.
I don't know. It's fucking weird. What's your favorite part of this movie, Christian?
So, Mark, I'm really gonna say the finale. The finale still, like, I really enjoy all of this movie, but what kind of pisses me off with the new one is it kind of undermines Roman. None of them mention Roman, and it acts like it's a non-factor. And that kind of upsets me because it tied the story in so well, and it made such perfect sense because, I don't know, what were we, middle school when this came out, Mark? So when I was invested into it at this point, and I had seen the first two, and I was invested. So, like, when the third one came out, I really took the shit to heart. And I really love that finale scene where Roman eventually reveals himself, because Sydney is a hell of a final girl. First off, Neve Campbell, super hottie, been in mass horror movies. But I love her character of strength. It's not, like, phony or dramatic. It seems real with her. She's, like, just a real tough chick. Like, if that was your sister, you'd be like, man, I think she's gonna make it. She's tough. You don't want to fuck with her.
Yeah.
She's just got, like, a kind of attitude. But what I really appreciated about this tone of Scream is a lot of the other Screams have kind of been criticized for the fact that, like, how easy that the cast is able to play off, or the characters are able to play off deaths. The opening of Scream, everybody's just, or like, like when you meet all the kids and they're just joking about Casey Becker's death, just like, ah! It's like even the most asshole-ish of asshole people, like, wouldn't do that. It's just very numb, and it's just like, yep, this is the 90s. People die now. Yep, we're just, it just kind of had like we can roll over death very quick because we're used to it. 3, it felt like people took death serious, and it was kind of a little bit more of a serious tone, in my opinion. So Sydney listened to her stepbrother and her speech, and he's like, she still is just like, fuck that. You can't blame people for killing people. How about owning up to your own actions? Like, it was a nice exchange, and they literally fought. It wasn't, she didn't throw a TV or hide in a closet and hit him with an umbrella. They fought, and she won. She legit won, and I really appreciated that. I thought that was a cool exchange because Dewey and Gail were trying to get through the Scooby-Doo door, trying to find which book it was to open the door. But there was nobody there to help her. She did the shit on her own, and she got busted up. And I just thought that was what makes her such a cool final girl. The other movies, she might have had a little help. There was a little bit of, not this one, man. She was locked in that room with the killer, and she took his ass out. She outsmarted him, and killed him. And I just thought that was a cool exchange. There was actually some emotion there from a franchise that I thought was a little kind of like, they died. That was kind of serious. What about you, Ozark? What did you like?
I mean, the stabbed, he was stabbed part
That still makes
always
me laugh.
got me. I like when, let's see, who is the black guy character's name? What was his name in the movie?
Damn it.
Forget it.
That's racist.
It's not racist. I just forget his damn name. I forgot Roman's name too. It's not Tom.
No, Roman is Roman. Tom is the guy with the mustache that played Dewey.
Right. What's his name?
Hold on. I'm looking at. I'm right here.
What's his name?
Tyson.
Okay. His name's Tyson. I also like the part where just the comedic element of it is when he's getting chased in the house.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're going for.
He's going down the stairs, and he looks back. He's like, oh, you motherfucker. He just gets out of here.
I felt bad for him because the whole time he's like, what if one of these motherfuckers just pops out and tries to get us? And she's like, relax, everything's fine. And he's like, nah. He knew.
No, he definitely knew. Like, he was fucked. But those little comedic parts are always my favorites.
I like when Tom got blown up by the gas. I really like that scene.
That was cool.
The fax
it's like,
machine.
I gotta go back and look at the end of it.
Yeah. Whoever smells the...
Ding.
That looked kind of cool, too.
Explosions are always good.
You know what? There's a part, like, for some reason, certain movies, like, the words get stuck in your head, or, like, the sayings. And this definitely is one of those for me. The part where you have Brian from Family Guy. I'm just kidding. The security guard.
Yeah.
And he gets stabbed inside Dewey's trailer, and he's on the phone, and he thinks he's talking to Dewey because this guy has like voice changer boxes. He could sound like anybody, and at that time frame, that was like, ooh.
He's not Brian. I think he's Joe.
Joe. Yeah, I'm sorry, not Brian. Joe.
Yeah.
This dude fucking made fun of Dewey's dead sister, but then Ghostface pops out. But there's a part, and he's like, "Why would you say that? That makes me angry." Like when I get angry, that line pops in my head. That makes me angry. Like I don't know why he says it with so much force, but that guy's a good actor. He got stabbed in the back. He fought that dude. He really went down with an exchange right there.
Yeah, he did.
There's quite a few deaths in this.
There is. But we should go ahead and talk about them deaths here as we get into the world famous one and only sloppy horror rating.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Hello, folks.
Bow. We are in this bitch once again. Welcome to the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. This is the segment of the show, if you're not familiar, as Christian Ramey's going to rate this horror movie on a horror movie scale. A true horror movie scale, the elements that make a horror movie, not a movie in general, so keep that shit in mind, you asshole. Now, we're going to do this in a series of 4 categories. 3 of the categories are worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
That's right. 10's a good score. 10 commandments, top 10, the big 10, 10 out of 10 is the score we are going for. Will it make it? I don't know. But let's go on to the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
So casting, man, I really liked Parker Posey as Jennifer. I like that girl a lot. She's like...
I like that girl.
She's like unconventionally hot.
Yeah.
But whatever. We're not going to talk about that. But I really liked her acting a lot. I think, honestly, you haven't even had Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, in this fucking movie. I'm giving this a 3. I really am. There is star power casting in this. There's like Arquettes. There are, fucking Grey's Anatomy boy is in there. Dempsey's. There's really some top tier actors in this movie. So
there's
like
some big ones in this one.
It's a Weinstein picture. They could afford it. They had great acting, and nobody felt forced. Nobody's like, man, that's a corny guy, or like look at this guy can't act, or this is horrible acting. Nobody, in my opinion, makes me say that. So I would say that's one of the strongest points of this movie is casting. So 3.
So that's 3 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's go on to the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
So we get a decent amount, but as we alluded to before, they had to tone it down because of Columbine.
And they're in a movie called Stabbed.
Yeah.
They were stabbed.
So you do have some stabbings, you have some fun kills, but there are almost some kills that you might even be able to get away with on TV. It's, I think, and this goes for Scream in general, I think Scream scores higher on fear because they do a great job at, like, suspensing you because you're like, uh-oh, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're getting kind of hyped up, and then he pops out, you're like, you have this moment of fear, and there's more fear there than there is brutality. So, decent amount of kills, gave us some good kills, but I want to give this a 1. A 1 out of 3.
Okay. I knew that's what I was thinking in my mind as well. Great minds think alike, they say. So that is 4 out of 10 here on the 2 categories. Let's go into the third and final 3-point category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
So, once again, we are in the shoes of a person in 2000. Cloning cell phones, changing your voice, the realistic aspect of the killer. It's not like, there's a thing with Jason or Michael or brooding killers where you're like, I know this just isn't real because the dude's like, he's not human. But like, I like to watch him. He's my buddy now. Like, get him, Jason. Like, fuck her up, or like whatever, because you're on his team. This dude's real, and he's got some kind of personal vested interest against you. Like, he doesn't like you. And the fact that you can kill him, almost adds to that like Chucky kind of concept where like they hide in the shadows, like, you know, you better get them before they get you. So there is some fear. It definitely builds you up. So I'm just saying a 1.5 here. Okay, we're going on 1.5 because this isn't shit your pants scary. But if you are sucked into this story and you're in the year of 2000, I just really think it's base level of honest things. It's honest things that can happen. Someone can honestly put on a mask and try to kill you and put on a little plan. Because I think it's true fear because she kills him in the end. It's not fake. I think it's that, I don't know. Everybody's claiming like, oh, no, I get scared of shit that could really happen. Well, this could really happen. I mean, granted, there's some cinema magic or whatever. There's some of the funny explosions and things of that nature.
Somebody with a mask and a knife can follow you for a short period of time, figure out where you go daily, make a plan, and try and kill you. So that can, you're right. I mean, that's the real. We got realistic fear in here, and that's where the real fear is going.
Not a 3, not even a 2, but a 1.5. 1.5, I feel confident with.
Yeah, 1.5. Okay, so that is 5.5 out of 10 here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's go on to the final 1-point category for half a point each from 2 of your favorite people on rewatchability.
I mean, I know I say this with quite a few movies, and it's obviously we cover movies that I love, but I can't. I could not put a number of times I've watched this. I mean, it's a gross amount. I mean, maybe 3, borderline 4 figures. Like, I mean, it's gross the amount of times I've watched this movie. Lots of rewatchability, in my opinion.
Yep. Well, I'd say it's rewatchable to me too. I think what really makes a movie rewatchable is funny parts and fun parts and you know, a good story and good pacing and things like that. Because there are movies that you watch once and you're like, okay, like even though there's mystery to this, there's still lots of fun parts up until you get to that mystery reveal. Okay, but some movies, like I'll give you an instance, Shutter Island.
For sure.
That's an example of something that's not rewatchable.
One and done.
One and done with that. But this, no, it's Ghostface.
I feel that way with Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah,
Remember?
That's definitely one and done. I'm
like, I never
watching
forget
that.
this.
No, I'm no.
I remember.
I've only watched that movie once, and the amount of times I will watch that movie. So, all right. So that is 6 out of 10 total for Scream 3 on a horror movie scale.
Is that a 6.5?
What did we have? Okay, we had cast. Yeah, 6.5 out of 10 for Scream 3 on the horror movie scale. Okay, So keep that in mind. But that's a pretty good score. Okay, that's a good score. That's a very entertaining score. It's enough score to entertain your ass.
I think so too, man. Quit hating on Scream 3. Go back and look at it subjectively and really just try to think like, keep a little Me Too in mind. Keep a little bit of continuity in mind. And like, if you're really just pretending that 4 and 5 don't exist, and you just watch the first 3, they really all tie in. Like, there's never a moment where you're like, that's bullshit. I kind of get that a little bit with 4 and 5. Like, I want to watch them, and I do watch them, and at the end of the day, it is just Ghostface. But if the premise of your franchise is to be the intelligent franchise, then don't give me the same old fucking recycled bullshit the rest of the franchises are giving me. How about that?
How about that?
Catch me outside.
What do you think about that? Yeah. Are you okay over there?
A little.
Okay. Well, moving on, Christian Ramey, what's next? What do we got to do? Oh, yeah. We got to get into a little parental guide dance, don't we?
Folks, if you're not familiar with this little segment, we always jump into it right after the rating. And I always think this is fun because Mark occasionally has to watch kids, okay? Believe it or not, you wouldn't think so, but Mark does. And this is always a fun question for each movie because, believe it or not, a lot of people ask us what movies are good for kids, and they ask us why they ask us, I don't know. But Mark will give you a little summary review of what age he thinks is appropriate for Scream 3. So let's hit the music.
I missed you, mister.
Mr. Rollsock. Tell him if they're old enough. How old? To watch that scary stuff. For the parents who give up.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, baby boy. We are back here with Ozark Mark for the parental guidance. Ozark Mark, you've got Scream 3. You want to watch it. You got a group of kids. Are you going to be able to watch it with the kids you got? What age? Tell me. Let me see.
Probably less, I don't know, like 8 or 9 or something. You could go real young with this.
I think so, too.
You could go real young with this because the younger you go, the more they're not going to understand.
Yeah.
There's not anything gory or that intense violence. Half the time it's, there's quirky music in the background of when killings are happening. There's not intense music, so you don't have that element there. There's no sex.
No nudity, no drug use.
No nudity, no drug, very low cussing. So you could go like 8, honestly, 7 or 8. Dude,
Yeah.
honestly, it's almost an E for everyone, but I can't do that because there's still some murder and somebody might be scared of Ghostface for some reason, but I think people more older would be scared of Ghostface.
I think your
because
8, 9-year-old daughter would love this. This is Nancy Drew. I mean,
Right.
I don't mean to sound a type of way, but this is a level above Twilight. Girls love Scream. Mm-hmm. Girls love Scream.
And that's perfectly fine.
Believe it or not, I actually like Scream and like true crime stuff. I fall asleep to it. It's crazy. I know I'm really different and quirky. I'm not like the other girls.
Stop going down that road.
I'm not
Stop
like
it.
the other girls. I watch true crime stuff.
Shut up.
You don't say. You're real crazy, aren't you? You're one of them wild ones. This kitten has claws.
Stop it.
I'm just teasing, ladies. Us guys are just as easy to make fun of.
Oh, I know.
It's equal fun.
It is equal fun, but we're just better at it.
You heard it here.
Okay. Wow. So we got there. We're all the way up in there. We just have a few short moments left here to spend with you here on this episode. Any final words for you people, Christian Ramey?
Look, dude, you guys, I'm just gonna be real fair with you. I like to keep our goals open and honest. And Sloppy Horror doesn't intend to only be a podcast or a news source. We have news articles out and about. Please share those. Go to sloppyhorrorpodcast.com. And it's like, where can I share these? You got a Facebook? That's a good start. You're part of any horror groups?
Do you have an Instagram?
That's a great start. Twitter's a great start.
Do you got a Twitter?
So on top of that, I know I told you guys we, by the end of this year, we plan to have some short films out for you guys. We plan to, I'm not going to own a theater by the end of the house, or, by the end of this, but theaters, haunted houses, movies, news, podcasting. We want to be a face in horror. But we also don't want to sell out to our mainstream sponsors, okay? If I responded to every email and if I clicked yes to every option for advertising, the show would be a lot different and it would be a lot lamer. I know you guys click on the show and listen. If you're at this point, I would assume that you like listening to us talk, and we bring that to you with our hard work. So if you need a little extra way to support the show, I'm telling you, hop on that Patreon. Our goal, folks, is by December 31st, 2022 is to have 50 Patreons. That's not an unrealistic goal. We would love for you folks to help us get there. And we don't want to put little dumbass ads throughout our whole show.
Hey,
So
plus you get an extra episode.
yeah, we're not
Every week you get an extra one.
we're technically selling you something. It's not like you're just giving us fucking money.
Right,
You know what I mean?
And
You-
you're gonna get, once we get this merch shit figured out, you're gonna have special deals that only you could buy.
$5 a month. That's 5 McChickens a month. You can't give us 5 McChickens a month? Come
That's
on.
less than a pack of cigarettes a day.
And if you can't, totally okay. We love that you made it this
Cigarettes
far.
are like $9 now.
Insanity, bro. If you want a pack of cigarette, if you want a full tank of gas and a carton of cigarettes, you got to pull out a mortgage.
Dude, I took my work truck here just because I do not want to fill up my car yet.
fucking $12.
It's to the
get here.
point. It's to the point where I have to put gas in it, and I just don't want to do it right now
Yep.
because I'm not gonna want to see that price.
Nope.
Good God.
You know, if it gives you any assurance, I was listening to really enjoy the Tim Dillon podcast. Listening to him talk about gas prices.
Yeah.
Guy out in California, guess what he's paying?
It's like six.
7 something.
Yeah. Everything's more expensive out there. I don't know why.
$7, bro? Like, what?
Yeah.
Bro, you're talking $160, $70 to fill up your car.
And everybody thinks electric cars are going to be better. No. I just saw a Jeep commercial before I came over here of an electric Jeep. And they're still out at, like, the Grand Canyon in the woods with their electric car. It's like, okay. And then they have the nerve to put a electric charger out in the middle of nowhere. Like, that's not realistic at all. You idiot. I saw a line out in California of everybody with their electric cars, and there was literally a wraparound line to get into one of those charging stations.
The best
20
place to
cars
do it
deep,
would be here.
and it takes at least an hour or so to charge that fucking shit. So, no.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but unless you plan on buying the garage charger...
Unless
What if you had the charger port in your garage?
No, unless you can replace all the gas stations with electric chargers, and it takes the same amount of time to charge it as
I'm
it is
just
to put
saying you
gas in it.
personally. Like, if I said, I'm going to buy you the Tesla Roadster, and
No.
I'm going to put the charging port inside your thing.
No, I wouldn't want it.
Well, you got a really nice dream car, so I get that.
But regardless, I still like the convenience of gas.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like,
You know?
I like gas cars too, but
Yeah.
I think I would do it. But I agree with your sentiment of like, I'm not waiting in fucking line. And here in Cincinnati, we'd probably be okay because not many people got it. No. But like, yeah, I'm not waiting in line. We crazy, but it would be. I do see those people that get them ports put in their garage and they could just plug it up overnight. And you're like, damn, bro, you're living that dream, boy.
Yeah, but
I don't know what your bill is
I
looking
don't know.
like.
I never want to get to the part where I have to find a charging station and I have to sit there. No. I like stopping for gas and pressing it and going in and taking a piss and coming out and going.
Yeah, that's
You
a good
know,
point.
I
I
like the
that.
fact that it can start as long as I have gas. But, I don't know. The future sucks. It's always going to suck. Nobody looked at the future and say, this is going to be great. Nobody did. Okay? Nobody does.
Not one guy.
Everybody loves the things that happened before. Like this
Sure.
podcast, for instance. But what are you going to do? So,
We
anyway,
hope you enjoyed the 60-so minutes before this. And like I said, guys, be sure to come back next week because you know what... I guess we got to give them a little hint, Ozark.
Yeah, real quick. You got 30 seconds, bitch.
Let me give you a little hint of next week's episode.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Corey Feldman,
Yes. Oh, that could be anything.
Jason Voorhees.
Oh, that narrows it down. That narrows
I mean, technically,
it down.
he's in 2 of the movies. He's
And-
technically in 2 of the movies.
Well, then you got 2 options.
But, though, the other one, he's, like, in there for 14 minutes, if that. Like, he's, like, the opening scene, and it's not that one, so it's the other one.
Oh, well, that is very exciting. But with that being said, that's all for the podcast here today, ladies and gentlemen. We love you very much, and we'll see you next time on the Sloppy Horror Podcast.